What the fuck is up, guys? My name is Nick from Laugh and Grow Fat Reviews. This is going to be the recap of the Microsoft press conference of E3 2017. Happened earlier today. As recording this, it was a few hours ago. So Jesus. Oh man, Jesus. They announced a lot of fucking stuff. A lot of games. They talked about their consoles, stuff like that. We're going to go over it. There's a lot of stuff. So, number one, this is not going to be in any particular order. And number two, I'm not going to cover everything because there's just too many things. And this video would be super fucking long if I did that. So I'm just going to hit the key points, let you know the stuff that is super big that you should be worried about or excited about. So, they opened it up with Xbox One X, which is the official name for Project Scorpio now. It comes out November 7th. It's going to be $500. They also talked about backwards compatibility, and no, I don't give a shit about the backwards compatibility for Xbox One games. Of course, that should be given. I'm talking about the original Xbox backwards compatibility. Yes, you heard me right. They are, I guess, adding backwards compatibility for original Xbox games. I'll get to my opinions on that later, but right now, I think that's it as far as the big console related stuff. Other than that, just a bunch of a metric fuck ton of games. Number one, they are doing Forza 7, Forza Motorsport 7. That was not a surprise. They announced a new Metro game, which it looks pretty fucking sick, I gotta tell you. But again, more my thoughts on that later. We got our first look at Assassin's Creed. Assassin's Creed Origins. I don't know if they had announced it, but we did know that this was kind of going to be a thing. It is set in Egypt. Again, I think that that was something that got leaked earlier. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, right now only on PC, is going to be console exclusive later in 2017 for Xbox One. They showed off, even though they had announced it last year at E3, they showed off State of Decay 2. That guy's coming out spring of 2018. There's a new Dragon Ball Z game made by the people who made Guilty Gear. That was actually announced a few days ago, I believe. They showed off this game called The Last Night. It looks pretty sick. I have no idea what it is. It looks kind of like a voxel sort of 3D art. 2D, 3D art, which is cool, I guess. They showed off Code Vein, which again is something that I believe we've seen before. It looks like a Dark Souls clone with vampires. Tacoma, this is one that I'm super excited for. They're made by, it's made by the same people who made Gone Home. This has been in development for a few years now, I believe, is when they announced it a few years ago. That guy comes out August 2nd. They finally gave a release date to Cuphead. That comes out September 29th. They did announce this, I believe, a week ago or a week and a half ago, but a new Life is Strange game. It's not called Life is Strange 2, I guess. Or maybe Life is Strange 2 is a different thing. I don't know. I'm not fucking making it. But Life is Strange Before the Storm is coming out August 31st. It's going to be 3-part, and it's going to be a prequel to Life is Strange. Super Lucky's Tale. They showed off that. That comes out November 7th, same day as Xbox One X. That was announced a while ago as a VR game. I guess it's not a VR game anymore. They showed a bunch of Sea of Thieves gameplay, which, again, to be expected. I 100% expected this. Just because they announced it last year, and they kind of need the exclusive support right now. One thing that I was hoping for, and was a little bit surprised to see, just because there's that pessimistic side of me that thought that they weren't going to show it, is Crackdown 3. It looks like Crackdown, but again, more of my thoughts on that later. They did a bunch of stuff on Shadows of War, a new Ori and the Blind Forest game. Actually, I guess it's not Ori and the Blind Forest. It's a new Ori game called Ori and the Will of the Wisps. And then, of course, they showed off Anthem, which we talked about in the EA press conference. They showed a little teaser of that, and I told you, I have no idea, because we'll see later at the Microsoft conference, and we saw more. That looks interesting. That's the one that I'll probably give a few more thoughts on than the other things, just because interesting in maybe a bad way. I don't know. But I think that's it as far as just the things that I want to touch on. They showed some Minecraft stuff. They showed a bunch of other indie games. The Darwin Experiment, Deep Rock Galactic. Gosh, just a few other things. Black Desert, Ashen, The Artful Escape of Francis Vendetti. But I want to talk about my thoughts on this conference, because number one, it was way better than previous Microsoft conferences, at least the past two or 3 years. I mean, last year they showed off Forza Horizon 3, Gears 4, Halo Wars 2. Those games, well, Gears 4 did really well, but Forza Horizon 3, great game. Halo Wars 2, great game. They just didn't do very well. And I think that has everything to do with Microsoft not really delivering it at E3, and then not really marketing the games too heavily, especially Halo Wars. Jeez, that game got like no fucking marketing. And so it's nice to see the change of pace. It's nice to see them bringing it to the table, bringing a lot of stuff, and making it worthwhile. I would definitely recommend checking out the conference if you get a chance. Although I will say that personally, I don't think it's going to be better than Sony's conference, just because Sony is always like, they lead the pack on that. But so first of all, let's just start off with Project Scorpio, get it out of the way. We knew basically everything about this. So none of the information that they brought at the stage should be a surprise. The only thing that should be a surprise is the price, $499. Kind of expensive, but not as expensive as it could have been. Not that I was expecting it, but they very well could have made it $600 or more. Although personally, I do think $500 in this climate is a little expensive when you've got both Xboxes and PlayStations going for $250, $300. So when it comes to just a regular gamer, or the parent buying a console for their kid, I mean, they're not going to be looking at it. They're not going to be looking at this system that's $500 when they could get one for $250. They see it as the same thing, and so I'm worried about how well this console is going to do. I mean, we already see that with the PlayStation 4 Pro, because it's more expensive. All it adds is 4K. All it adds is and I mean, personally, I do like the boost in performance. If I played my Xbox enough, I would consider getting an Xbox One X. But for your average consumer, it's just not appealing when you can get the same thing, or in their eyes, the same thing, for cheaper. I'm just surprised that they didn't redesign the controller for like a fucking fifth time. As far as the backwards compatibility goes, interesting, unexpected, 100% unexpected, but I really am not sure that I care too much. I do have plenty of original Xbox games. I don't have an original Xbox. You might be asking, well, what the fuck? How do you play those fucking games then? Well, it's because the vast majority, basically, 99% of original Xbox games work on the Xbox 360. I still own an Xbox 360, and that's one of the reasons I still own an Xbox 360. I think the biggest problem with that is just that you know that they're going to do it the same way that they are doing it with the 360 games. How fast are they going to be rolling these games out? I mean, Phil Spencer took the stage. Phil Spencer, great guy. I love him. I'm so glad that he's the president of Xbox now, because he does such a good job. He feels so genuine on stage, and I really wanted to be enthusiastic when he said there's over 350 games or whatever, or 380 or something, he said, on Xbox One backwards compatibility now. That's not a big number. I mean, we're talking about thousands and thousands of 360 games, and I guarantee that 1, 2, 3, 4, or more, it doesn't matter, of your favorite Xbox 360 games are not backwards compatible, and a lot of them probably will never be backwards compatible because of the way that they're doing it. But I just don't know. I don't know. We'll just have to see. But as far as the games go, Forza 7, I don't really have anything to say about that. It's not a surprise. It looks fine. It looks like a fine game. I'm more interested in Gran Turismo Sport, to be completely honest. I always have been. In case you didn't know, I'm a fucking PlayStation guy. Metro, that looks sick. That looks fucking sick as shit. I like the idea of Metro. Wasn't a huge fan of Metro 2033. That's a whole topic for another day. But This looks really good, and I am thoroughly excited for it. Assassin's Creed Origins, not excited for it. I think that they need to stop making Assassin's Creed, not indefinitely, but for a while. We see Sony do this all the time. They stop making a franchise, they leave it alone for 5 to 10 years, and then by that time, everyone has forgotten anything bad about it, and when they bring it back, everyone fucking loves it. They did it with Twisted Metal. I think they're doing it again with Twisted Metal. They did it with Sly. I think they're doing it again with Sly. But, you know, they did it with God of War. And everyone's excited for this new God of War. I bet you they're going to do it with Killzone. And so I just don't feel like, especially EA and Ubisoft, they do this all the fucking time. We saw it with Need for Speed. They gave it 2 years, and then they were like, "Oh man, now we're bringing it back." And everyone was like, "Yeah, I mean, that's all right." And I think the same thing is going to happen with Assassin's Creed. Unity still happened, and it happened not that long ago, and so people are still going to remember that. You need to give it more time, but whatever. PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. I haven't played it. So, looks cool. I don't know. I'm sure it's cool. State of Decay 2. Haven't played it. That one actually looks pretty cool. I'm more interested in that than I am in Battlegrounds, but I don't know. I have no idea. I should probably play the first one before I play the second one, but whatever. As far as Dragon Ball Z goes, super not interested in this, and it has nothing to do with it being a fighting game or not being a Xenoverse game or me not liking Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball. Xenoverse looks fine, although I never played it, and that was because I stopped playing Dragon Ball Z games. Stopped playing Dragon Ball Z games when I played Raging Blast, because that game is a fucking steaming pile of shit compared to Budokai and Budokai Tenkaichi. So it's nice to see that an actual fighting game company is making it, but it's 2D, and I don't like that. I'm a 3D fighting game guy, so, you know, I guess I'm just not terribly interested in it. I am excited for Tacoma, though. Gone Home was fucking fantastic. I love Gone Home, and I have been waiting for this fucking game. I've been waiting so long for this fucking game. I remember reading the Game Informer, I remember reading the Game Informer article from like 2 years ago or something when it was on the cover. And I'm like, oh my fucking god, this game looks awesome. It made by people made Gone Home. I fucking love that game. I need this in my life right now. How was I supposed to fucking know that I was going to have to wait that long for it? But it's finally coming out August 2nd. August is going to be busy for me. I can already fucking tell. But yeah, if you haven't played Gone Home, go fucking play it. This looks like Gone Home in space with a bunch of like holograms and shit. Cuphead. I gotta say, I'm excited for Cuphead, not excited for it to be an exclusive. I don't like when games like this are exclusive, just because I feel like they're not going to be, for a game as small as this, it's not going to be utilizing the player base that it could be, and so it runs the risk of not being successful. And this is not just an Xbox problem. This is a problem no matter what console you put it on. When you restrict the platform, you run into problems, unless it's something like Gears of War or Halo, where it's been that way for 20 years or whatever, not for Gears, but for Halo, and you know, you have a problem of not having the marketing budget because it's not a AAA title, and when you market it for one console, you leave, you know, everyone else out in the dust. So if this, obviously it's not going to, because, or at least as of right now, it's not going to, because everything they've said that it's going to be Microsoft exclusive. If this doesn't end up coming out for any other console, it runs the risk of not doing very well because of that. And like I said, it would be the same if it was a Switch exclusive. It would be the same if it was a Sony exclusive. When you don't put the marketing into it, because it's not a AAA game, you run into problems. And you know, don't tell me this bullshit of like, well, there's a lot of people that play on Xbox, so I don't, you know, even if it was Sony, it doesn't fucking matter. I think Todd Howard said once, if all we cared about was player base, then we would all make tabletop games because everybody owns a table, right? So that doesn't matter. You can't look at what player base is bigger. What you need to look at is how can we maximize this, and maximizing means releasing it for every fucking console you possibly can, with exceptions of like, you know, ports to consoles that can't run it, like if it was a 3DS or Vita or something like that. But we know that the PlayStation 4 can run it. I guarantee you the Switch could run it. So there's no reason not to release it on those other consoles. I'll probably still get it. Oh, there was one thing that I didn't mention in the recap, but it's not super important to anybody besides me, it looks like, but Ooblets. I have no fucking clue what it is, but oh my god, it looks cool. Like, it reminds me of Katamari, and I like anything that reminds me of Katamari. Life is Strange 2. Jesus Christ. Like, I almost cried while I was watching this trailer, and I had no idea what the fuck was going on. I'm not going to spoil Life is Strange for you, but I was like, who is that? Who is that? And then when it finally shows it's Chloe, I was like, oh my god, it's going to be a prequel. I fucking know it. And I will be pre-ordering it. I will be playing it the fucking day that it comes out. I can't not. I love that game so much, and I'm super freaking excited for it. If they end up releasing it physically, I'll buy it then too. I did it with fucking Life is Strange 1. Super Lucky's Tale looks really cool. Looks like a 3D platformer. I'm not going to give you my thoughts on Yooka-Laylee, but it's all right. And hopefully this is better than Yooka-Laylee. But I don't know. For a second, I did think it was either A, Conker, or Bubsy, because they did recently announce that they're doing another Bubsy for fucking God knows why. But luckily it wasn't Conker, just because I feel like what they've been doing to Conker lately, it probably wouldn't go over well with everybody. Sea of Thieves. It looked better. Honestly, it looked better when they didn't show me what it was, because the fact that it looks so multiplayer focused, and the fact that it looks so, sort of, I don't know, I can't put it into words. It doesn't look that interesting to me. Maybe, who knows, maybe it's going to be one of those games where it comes out, I play it, and I fall in love with it. I have no idea, but something about it's giving me bad vibes. Hopefully it does really well. It is being made by Rare. That's a bad sign, because Rare, the past 10 years haven't been nice to Rare. But Crackdown 3, oh gosh, this looks a lot like Crackdown. Like a lot like Crackdown 1 and a lot like Crackdown 2. It looks like they got rid of the destructible environments, which is an odd choice. Hopefully they ditched the whole fucking cloud processing bullshit. But Terry Crews was in the trailer. Terry Crews is cool. So it was a funny trailer, but I don't know. It looks like a game that's been in development hell for 5 years. So I suppose it's true to life, I guess. So the Shadow of War. This is one that, frankly, this trailer made me more interested in it than I was previously. Although I will say that the guy that he turns over to his side, he dominates him or whatever, which sounds sexual. He's more, the orc that he does that to is more funny than him, and it made me go, why am I not playing as the orc? Or I hope that orc is just always with me at all times. I get him at the beginning of the game, and then I have him for the rest of the game. Hopefully he doesn't die, because he is a fucking awesome character. Main character, again, didn't play through Shadows of Mordor, although I did play it a little bit, and I just didn't like it because it was too Assassin's Creed-y. Hopefully your main character isn't as boring as he looks. But I'm sure that you know better than I do on that. I didn't play Ori and the Blind Forest, so I can't say whether or not I'm excited for Ori and the Will-o'-the-Wisps, but it looks cool. It looks like a game for people that liked the first one. So, if you like the first one, then you watch the trailer for this. It looks cool, I guess. And then, let's talk about Anthem. This is the one that I'm not sure about. So it shouldn't be a surprise that this is a Destiny clone. And that's because, believe it or not, EA told you that this was going to be a thing. They told you, I don't know if it was a year ago, year and a half. It feels maybe like it was around Rise of Iron's release or around the Taken King's release. I can't remember which one, but it was around some Destiny expansion release, because they were like, well, you like Destiny? Well, fuck you, because guess what? We have a Destiny killer. It's something that's going to be way better than Destiny. Everyone's going to forget about Destiny, and they're all going to come play this game. And I knew that this game was coming. In the back of my head, I remembered that, and I was like, here it fucking comes. And when the fucking fake, online banter... They need to stop doing that. Ubisoft and EA need to stop fucking doing that fake online banter shit. It is, not believable, and it's really annoying. And it's also not at all how online conversations go. Let's be honest. No one goes, alright, man, enemy at your 6. Whoa, dude, you got a cool piece of gear. Oh, my God. I mean, I don't know about you, but when I play games online, a lot of fuck. There's a lot of fuck, all right? I say fuck a lot. And also things that are largely incoherent. And most of the time, my conversations have nothing to do with the game. It's like, yeah, the other fucking day I went to the market and I saw this chick, she's pretty cool. You know, I was like, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. It has nothing to do with the game. So they need to stop doing that. But he picks up a rifle, like a random loot drop rifle. He said you can customize your exosuit, whatever. Like, the game looks fun, and don't get me wrong, I played Destiny for way too much, and even still, I'm not terribly fond of Destiny. I did play all of the expansions. I probably put 200 hours or more into that game. I know nothing compared to, probably all of you who played it for 7 million hours, But I did give it a fair shot. I didn't play it for 20 minutes, and I just don't like the way that they handled it. A lot of grinding, although it is an MMO, and that, I think, might be the difference between Anthem and Destiny. It depends on how MMO this game is. But I'll tell you one thing. I have no problem with random loot drops. I have no problem with customizing your character. Obviously, who has a problem with that? But what I do have a problem with is microtransactions. And although Destiny doesn't have microtransactions in the form of loot boxes, you can't get... what the fuck are those called? Cryptograms? I don't know. You can't get those by purchasing them with real money, but you just have to grind a lot. You have to fucking grind a lot. But nowadays, a lot of games that are coming out with these loot boxes and currency that you can purchase the loot boxes with, Jesus, man. I mean, you can never get what you fucking want. The RNG is, like, so bad, and they do that on purpose so that you have to spend money on it. And so that will be what makes or breaks this game, I think, as far as, the loot and it being like an MMO. If you can buy loot boxes to get the upper hand, pay-to-win style shit, it's gonna kill it for me. Might not kill it for you, but it's gonna kill it for me. Game looks fantastic. It is being made with Frostbite, but... literally everything EA does now is being made by Frostbite, so, it looks gorgeous, but I just don't know, man. Yeah, like, I definitely don't think it'll kill Destiny. That's 100% sure. Destiny is too big, it's too popular. But it has a chance of being something different. I just don't know that it will be something different. I think that that's EA's problem. They tried to copy Activision too much, and they end up not being successful. They need to focus on their franchises that Activision doesn't have a direct competitor towards. They need to bring back Dead Space. What fucking Activision game is a horror game? Maybe there's one. I don't know. Activision publishes a lot of games, but it just, I don't know. I think that that's what they need to focus on instead of focusing on Battlefield and the Destiny clone. They need to make games that are unique to them, not games that are unique to Activision. So, but anyways, like I said, by the way, I just want to clarify, like I said in the EA video, this is what they've been working on instead of Mass Effect Andromeda. I would like you to know that, and that's kind of what bugs me about this, is that all of Mass Effect Andromeda's problems, I guarantee you, are because of this game. Because BioWare was busy working on this, well, they were shitting out a Mass Effect game so that they could do something with the IP. And I don't like that. I don't like it when people do that. Activision does that. Ubisoft does that. EA does that all the fucking time. They make companies work on it. I mean, look at Mirror's Edge. I know that DICE is split up into a bunch of different teams, but like Mirror's Edge is just, it's not bad mechanically, but it is not a full game. And I have a feeling that's because they were like, well, let's just give it 20 minutes and $5 and then they'll make a game, as opposed to really giving it the time and money that it deserves. And that's what they did with Mass Effect Andromeda. And they gave all that time and money to Anthem instead. Whether it was a different team or not, I don't fucking care. The resources are resources. And I have a feeling that was the problem. But I don't know. Only time will tell. I don't think, let me see here. Yeah, I don't think they gave a release date to Anthem. But if they did, I'm sure it's coming out next year. So, anyways, that was the recap. Video much longer than the first one. Tried to keep it under 20 minutes. Obviously not under 20 minutes as I'm looking at the time here. But if you haven't seen my EA video, my EA recap and thoughts, that will be an annotation or whatever, end card, I don't know what they call it these days, on the screen. If you like the video, give it a like. I don't know what it does, but let's aim for 2 likes. I'll be one of them. So meet me halfway on that. That's only one like. God, I'm useless. My name is Nick. This has been Laugh and Grow Fat Reviews. Make sure you laugh a lot, eat a lot, and have fun doing it.